The Boston Celtics are walking into the 2025 to 2026 NBA season under circumstances that no one expected just a few months ago. Jayson Tatum is sidelined with a ruptured Achilles tendon, and while there is cautious optimism that he might return late in the season, the truth is that no doctor can circle a date on the calendar. Add to that the departures of Jrue and Kristaps Porzingis, both moved in summer transactions designed to reshape the payroll and secure long-term flexibility, and suddenly this team that was lifting the championship trophy in June of 2024 looks like a different creature entirely. Yet hidden in this uncertainty is a possibility that could send shockwaves through the league and ignite a new chapter in Celtics history. Speculation has quietly started to circle around a name that carries more weight than his numbers suggest: Bronny James. At first glance, the idea seems almost absurd. The son of LeBron James, wearing the green and white of the most storied franchise in NBA history, brought to Boston not for his current production, but for what he could become under the right conditions. It sounds more like a headline crafted for drama than a realistic plan, yet when you peel back the layers, the move carries logic that is hard to ignore. The Lakers gave Bronny his rookie opportunity, and his averages of just over 2 points, less than 1 rebound, and less than 1 assist per game at the NBA level did not create headlines. But hidden away from the bright lights of Los Angeles, he displayed something entirely different in the G League. 21.9 points per game, more than 5 assists, more than 5 rebounds, and nearly 2 steals on strong shooting splits. That version of Bronny suggests not just potential, but a player with the ability to thrive when freed from the crushing shadow of playing next to his father. And that is where Boston enters the story. The Celtics have built a reputation not just for star power, but for talent development. From turning Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown into perennial All-NBA players to maximizing the value of Peyton Pritchard and Sam Hauser, Boston has repeatedly proven that their system can elevate players who arrive with questions about their ceiling. Imagine Bronny entering that environment, splitting time between the main Celtics and the NBA roster, learning under the guidance of one of the league's most meticulous front offices. He would be allowed to breathe, to grow, to write his own story without the daily comparisons that Los Angeles imposes. Financially, there is also a subplot that makes this scenario intriguing. Brad Stevens has already moved aggressively to position Boston under the second tax apron, a threshold that influences how much flexibility a team has in trades and roster construction. Bringing in a young, inexpensive guard with upside could provide depth without compromising long-term goals. Even if Bronny does not blossom into a star, the low cost and potential marketing benefits of having him in Boston make the risk minimal. If he does develop into more, the reward could be seismic. There is, of course, the rivalry factor. Celtics and Lakers are more than just franchises. They are cultural symbols that have defined the NBA across decades. To see Bronny James cross that divide would not only fuel national headlines, but would also inject new energy into one of sports' greatest rivalries. The thought of Boston nurturing the growth of the son of LeBron James while Los Angeles continues its desperate pursuit of relevance in the post-LeBron era is a storyline too dramatic for Hollywood to script. Skeptics will argue that the Lakers would never consider such a move. But front offices are driven by logic, not sentiment. If Los Angeles sees Bronny's development better served elsewhere, and if Boston presents a package that strengthens the Lakers' immediate timeline, why not explore the conversation? History is filled with trades that seemed unthinkable until the moment they were announced. For Boston fans, this speculation should not be read as desperation, but as vision. The Celtics have already climbed the mountain, and they know how to do it again. A season that some may dismiss as transitional could instead be remembered as the year when a bold idea took root. Whether Bronny James ever wears Celtic green remains uncertain, but the fact that the possibility exists is a reminder that this franchise is never content to simply wait. The Milwaukee Bucks may be setting the stage for one of the most surprising moves of the upcoming season, and at the center of this storm sits a name connected directly to the Boston Celtics. After 3 consecutive first-round exits, the Bucks have gone from feared champions in 2021 to a franchise desperately searching for answers. They added Miles Turner in free agency to pair with Giannis Antetokounmpo, creating a wall of defense in the paint. Yet defense alone cannot mask what Milwaukee has been missing since the departure of Damian Lillard. What is truly fascinating is the latest rumor linking them to Anfernee Simons, a guard who only recently landed in Boston through a complex deal that shipped Jrue to Portland back in June. This is where the story becomes electrifying for Celtics fans. Simons is not just another scoring guard, he is a proven offensive engine. At 25 years old, he is entering the prime of his career with the numbers to prove it. 19.3 points per game last season, with shooting splits of over 42% from the field, 36% from beyond the arc, and an incredible 90% from the free throw line. In the 2 seasons before that, he topped 20 points per night, including a career-high average of 22.6 points per game in 2023 and 2024. His scoring profile alone explains why a team like Milwaukee, desperate to avoid wasting another season of Giannis, would attempt to pull him away from Boston. But here lies the curiosity gap. Why would the Celtics, fresh off a championship and still building around Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown, even entertain discussions involving Simons? The answer is not simple, and that is exactly what makes this rumor so compelling. Boston is managing the enormous weight of financial commitments. With their payroll already climbing into one of the highest in league history, every contract matters. Simons is owed $27.7 million in the upcoming season, a figure that can complicate long-term flexibility. Front offices across the league are aware of this, and the Bucks are trying to sneak into that window of opportunity. What Celtics fans must understand is that Boston holds all the leverage. Reports suggest they are not 100% committed to trading Simons and may decide to keep him, testing his fit with the core before making any final decision. This creates a suspenseful scenario. If the Celtics believe Simons can become the third reliable scorer behind Tatum and Brown, his presence could elevate their offense to an even scarier level. If they decide otherwise, Boston will not give him up cheaply. The organization knows the market value of a player who combines age, scoring talent, and elite shooting percentages. Now imagine the implications. If Milwaukee somehow succeeded in prying Simons away, it would reshape the balance of power in the Eastern Conference. Giannis paired with Turner on defense and Simons providing the offensive spark could transform the Bucks from vulnerable to dangerous overnight. But if Boston keeps him, it is not just about denying Milwaukee a chance to reload, it is about strengthening their own dynasty plans. The Celtics would be turning financial pressure into opportunity, keeping a weapon that other contenders are desperate to acquire. Sam Amico of HoopsWire has already fueled the speculation by pointing out that Cleveland could act as a third party to help facilitate such a deal. The Cavaliers are reportedly active in finding partners for trades, which raises the question of what kind of package would truly tempt Boston. Would Milwaukee risk parting with young depth or future picks to satisfy both the Celtics and a third team? And more importantly, would Boston ever agree to send offensive firepower directly to a conference rival that they may face in the playoffs? The Bucks ended last season with a record of 48 wins and 34 losses, their lowest winning percentage since 2017 and 2018 when they lost to the Celtics in the first round. For Milwaukee, desperation is the fuel. For Boston, patience and vision are the strategy. This is why this rumor is more than just noise. It is a glimpse into how other franchises view the Celtics, not as a team vulnerable to attack, but as the fortress they must try to penetrate. For fans in Boston, the hope lies in this simple truth. Whether Simons stays or goes, the Celtics hold the upper hand. They are not chasing the Bucks are chasing them. And when the rest of the league begins scrambling for scraps of talent that might shift the balance, Boston is the one holding the peace everyone else desires. Celtics may be standing on the edge of another dramatic move that could reshape not only their roster, but also the direction of their entire championship window. After acquiring Anfernee Simons in the deal that sent Jrue Holiday to Portland earlier this offseason, the front office has quietly been exploring ways to reposition the talented guard, and now whispers are growing louder that 2 heavyweight contenders have emerged as serious suitors. According to reporting from Sam Amico of HoopsWire, both the Denver Nuggets and the Philadelphia 76ers have expressed interest in acquiring Simons, a 25-year-old scorer with 1 season remaining on his current contract, worth $27.7 million in the 2025 to 2026 campaign. The intrigue here is not simply about Simons himself, but about what his future represents for Boston. This is a franchise balancing championship ambition with the new reality of financial discipline, and every move carries weight. The new ownership group, which finalized its purchase of the Celtics this summer, is determined to build a roster that can sustain success beyond a single run, and Simons could either be a central piece of that plan or the key to unlocking an even bigger deal. For Denver, the thought of pairing Nikola Jokic with another explosive scorer capable of creating his own shot is terrifying for the rest of the league, And for Philadelphia, adding Simons alongside Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey would give them yet another offensive weapon as they push to finally break through in the Eastern Conference. The fact that these two franchises, both with championship aspirations, are circling Simons should immediately raise the question: what does Boston see that makes him so valuable, and why would they even consider letting him go? The numbers suggest Simons is more than just a secondary scorer. Over the past 2 seasons, he averaged over 20 points per game, and last year he posted 19.3 points for 0.8 assists and 2.7 rebounds while shooting 42.6% from the field, 36.3% from beyond the arc, and an elite 90.2% from the free throw line. At only 25, his best years are still ahead of him, and Boston has proven time and again that it can maximize the strengths of talented guards, as they did with Derek White, who transformed into one of the most reliable two-way players in the league after arriving in Boston. Still, there are layers of strategy that go beyond raw statistics. The Celtics entered this summer with difficult financial decisions, forced to part with Kristaps, Porzingis, and Jrue Holiday due to the tightening grip of the salary cap. They also allowed veterans Al Horford and Luke Kornet to test free agency, signaling a clear shift toward flexibility and forward planning. Add to this the lingering impact of Jayson Tatum's Achilles injury, and it becomes clear that Boston is navigating one of the most complex transitional periods in recent memory. With their superstar expected to miss significant time next season, the priority has shifted from short-term dominance to long-term stability, and Simons sits right at the crossroads of that mission. This is where the curiosity deepens. If Boston keeps Simons, they could develop him into a dynamic scorer who complements Jaylen Brown and provides a bridge until Tatum returns at full strength. If they move him, the return could be a package that further balances the roster or provides financial maneuverability for an even larger blockbuster move down the line. The new owners are eager to make a statement, and few things send a louder message to the league than flipping a young, highly coveted guard to either the reigning champions in Denver or one of the most desperate contenders in Philadelphia. The hidden truth is that Simons may be more than just a trade asset. He represents Boston's flexibility at a time when many contenders are trapped by bloated contracts and aging cores. The Celtics, despite the turbulence of this offseason, are in a position of strength because they can choose whether to shape Simons into the next breakout star or use him to pry open a door to an even more ambitious pursuit. Imagine a scenario where the Celtics turn his contract into multiple pieces that address depth, defense, and shooting, all while preparing the ground for Tatum's eventual return. Suddenly, what looks like a gamble becomes a masterclass in long-term planning. And here lies the ultimate suspense. Nobody outside the walls of the Auerbach Center truly knows which direction Boston will take. The whispers of Denver and Philadelphia are only the surface of a deeper strategy that could shock the NBA. Will the Celtics hold on to a young scorer with untapped potential, or will they pull the trigger on a trade that resets the balance of power in the league? Whatever the answer, one thing is clear. Boston is not standing still, and the moves they make in the coming weeks could define the next decade of Celtics basketball. Celtics fans, this is not the time to blink, because the decisions surrounding Anfernee Simons could mark the moment where the franchise shifts from surviving the challenges of an offseason to building the foundation for another banner. Stay tuned, because the next headline might not just be about Simons, it might be about the future of Boston itself. Subscribe now so you do not miss the next twist in this story. The Celtics are preparing something big, and you will want to be here when it happens.